Hi everyone, welcome to Film Recaps. Today, we're going to talk about the movie Army of Thieves, the thrilling prequel to Army of the Dead. I'll be focusing on explaining the details, and maybe getting a bit creative when describing the scenes to add a touch of mystery to the explanation. Get ready for a journey filled with action, intrigue, and unexpected moments. Let's get started. 100 years ago, a remarkable legend came to life. There was a man named Hans, a master locksmith, who dedicated his entire life to creating 4 exceptional safes. The mechanisms he crafted were so intricate that no one in the world could decipher them. He designed each safe with meticulous care and attention to detail, leaving even the most skilled locksmiths in awe and baffled by their complexity. Hans decided to lock himself in one of the vaults and sink it into the depths of the ocean, proud of his incredible creation and waiting for the day when someone would solve its mystery. Fast forward 100 years, and there's Matthias, a young prodigy in the art of lockpicking, who becomes captivated by Hans's legendary safe. Ever since he was a child, Matthias has shown an amazing talent for unlocking locks, and up to this point, he hasn't come across one that could resist his skill. His sole objective is to locate and open Hans's enigmatic safe, but its elusive location has hindered Matthias's ability to test his skills. One day, while browsing the internet, Matthias comes across news of a lockpicking contest that claims to feature the world's most challenging lock. He immediately signs up, convinced that it must be Hans's safe. However, upon arriving at the event, Matthias is disappointed to find out that it is not the safe he has been longing for. Nonetheless, he decides to face the challenge and puts his skills to the test. The contestants are skilled safe-cracking experts from all corners of the world, eager to tackle the challenge. As the referee announces the start of the contest, they all rush to the safe, attempting to crack it open. Minutes later, Trent, skillful and determined, is one of the first to complete the task, followed by 2 other competitors. Matthias prepared to face the first round with his confidence at its peak. As he gently turned the combination wheel, he paid close attention to the delicate sounds of the gears inside. As if it were child's play, he breezed through the first round in a matter of seconds, leaving everyone awestruck by his skill. In the second round, the difficulty increased significantly, but Matthias didn't lose his arrogance. He watched as other competitors also managed to unlock their safes, although none as quickly as him. He would advance to the third round, where the real challenge awaited. The third round featured a lock so complex that it was comparable to the national anti-theft system. The atmosphere in the competition grew tense, with all eyes fixed on Matthias, expectant of his performance. Despite the pressure, Matthias remained calm and self-assured, even allowing himself to joke with Trent while working on the lock. With remarkable dexterity, Matthias manipulated the combination wheel with pinpoint precision, opening the first level of the lock in record time. Using the same method, he overcame the second and third levels, astonishing everyone by achieving this feat in just 9 seconds. Applause and cheers from the audience filled the venue as they celebrated his accomplishment. As everyone celebrated, a young woman caught Matthias's eye. Unbeknownst to him, she was a master thief whose presence would change his life forever. The next day, Gwendolyn, the same young woman who had caught Matthias's attention, approached him to talk. She had observed his skill at unlocking safes and wanted to recruit him for her team. Although Matthias found her attractive, he did not immediately accept her offer. Matthias got to know Gwendolyn and learned a lot about her. At 6, she had stolen her first watch. At 16, she had suffered her first heartbreak. At 17, she had stolen her first car. And at 17, she had a red notice from Interpol. She revealed to him that she was his first commenter and viewer on his YouTube videos. Intrigued by her mysterious past and undeniable attractiveness, Matthias began to reconsider her offer to join his team of skilled thieves. Gwendolyn tells Matthias that the whole team needs her because she knows more about Hans's safes than anyone else. She offers him a unique opportunity to crack Hans's 3 safes and claim the loot. although his true goal is not the money, but the satisfaction of accomplishing his greatest challenge. Gwendolyn gives Matthias an address and asks him to visit her if he decides to join the team. The next day, Matthias follows the address to Gwendolyn's home. There he meets her teammates. Corinne, the best hacker with a strikingly attractive appearance and exceptional skills. Rolf, a race car driver so fast that even Nicolas Cage would have trouble keeping up with him. And Brad Cage, a real-life action hero who grew up idolizing Nicolas Cage's movies. This time, their goal is not money, but satisfying their thirst for excitement. Corinne explains their ambitious plan to Matthias. The first vault is in Paris and has millions of combinations. The second is in Prague, and the most secure of all is in Switzerland, which has a staggering 72 trillion combinations and is rumored to hold up to $100 million. All three vaults are owned by the infamous billionaire Bly Tanaka. Their first target is Paris. Before going into action, they all check their equipment thoroughly. Only Matthias is confused. So there is some tension. They can't afford to waste time. So they head for Paris. Just as they're about to target a credit union, Matthias gets cold feet. Matthias enters first and goes directly to the restroom. Gwen follows, takes the guard's key, and requests a safety deposit box under a false name. Karina comes in, and only the cashier can assist her since no one else speaks English. At this point, Gwen slips away to pick up Matthias, and they make their way into the vault. Matthias finally found the vault he had dreamed of. He was thrilled, but he didn't expect what he was about to encounter. The complexity of the vault far exceeded his imagination. There he stood, in front of the bank's vault. Although he was known as the master of unlocking, this time he was nervous as well. This was because the safe had been designed by a talented locksmith and had a 100-year history, with extremely complex internal mechanisms. He took out his phone and selected a soft love song before taking off his shirt. He pressed himself against the front of the vault and moved slowly. At that moment, the vault's internal mechanisms began to change as well. Matthias listened carefully to the sound of each gear turning inside the vault, knowing that one wrong gear could lock it. 2 minutes later, Matthias finally solved the puzzle and pulled open the door. Inside was all the money. They were both excited, but their happiness didn't come from the money itself, but from having successfully opened one of Hans's 4 legendary locks. After taking several piles of money, they left the scene immediately. Their accomplices outside had done their part of the job, but as they fled, they were caught on camera. The police quickly recognized them because they had previously committed 5 crimes in a row. They were on the police's most wanted list. Based on the clues gathered, the police concluded that the next target for the team, and Matthias, would be the 3 remaining vaults. At this point, the group was unaware that they were being watched by the police. So they continued to celebrate the theft. Matthias watched Gwendolyn dance and fell in love with her. During their time together, he had developed feelings for her. But it was clear that the relationship between Gwendolyn and Brad, who was also a member of the team, was not ordinary. At night, Matthias went into Gwendolyn's room. They talked about her past. It turned out that her family had been wealthy. Her father was a famous real estate mogul. Her father was very busy, so she often felt ignored. From a young age, she trained and perfected her ability to steal. After talking for a while, they worked on their next plan. On the second day, they left again. They head to Prague. This time, the objective is clearly more challenging than the previous one. There are security guards surrounding the bank. To avoid arousing suspicion, Matthias assumes the identity of a client and brings $1,000 to the bank. Corinne, outside the bank, directs the entire process. Matthias enters the bank, approaches the main door, and pretends to open it. Meanwhile, Corinne presses the keypad, and the iron door opens automatically. Afterward, Gwendolyn and Matthias meet up and get on the elevator. Inside the elevator, Matthias tries to ask Gwendolyn about her relationship with Brad. She replies that they have no relationship and are just teammates. However, Brad clearly overhears this conversation. When the elevator opens, a security guard stops them. Gwendolyn takes him down without a word. Then, a burly bodyguard rushes in, but she doesn't back down and strikes the guard's face with force. Witnessing this series of actions, Matthias is so scared that he dares not breathe. Finally, the two find Hans's second safe. After getting ready, Matthias plays a soft love song again. Noticing Gwendolyn's insistence, Matthias proceeded with caution. He gently turned the wheel of the safe, facing a much more difficult challenge than before. He had just managed to open the second gear when he made a mistake. Gwendolyn informed him that the 3 remaining locks had activated automatically due to the safe's self-protection device. If another mistake was made, the vault would lock completely. Meanwhile, the captain of the bank's surveillance room discovered the anomaly when Matthias opened the door. The images on the security monitors clearly showed that something was wrong. They immediately called the police. Corinne, who was outside, realized that the situation was getting complicated. Seeing the plan fail, Brad quickly put on a mask to intervene and buy some time. He entered the bank, shot the guards, and took control of the situation. With the situation under control, Matthias tried again to open the safe. He listened carefully to every internal movement as he gently turned the combination knob. Eventually, he managed to open the first, second, and third locks. Under intense pressure, the safe finally gave way. Matthias and Gwendolyn embraced excitedly, and in the heat of the moment, he was about to kiss her. But a cold voice interrupted them. Her accomplices urged her to make a quick getaway. After they ran out of the bank, the police gave chase again. Brad helped his teammates get into the car, but when it was Matthias's turn, Brad pushed him out of the car. The police quickly closed in on Matthias, while Gwendolyn managed to escape. When Matthias saw that the police were about to catch him, he stole a passerby's car and fled. Shortly thereafter, he was intercepted by 2 police cars, but managed to escape with the agility of a bicycle. Through an alley, Matthias reached a railroad track and attempted to board a train, successfully escaping. Despite his escape, Matthias didn't feel happy, but rather sad that he had been betrayed by his teammates. They were not lifelong friends, but they were a team, and what they got in return was betrayal. Meanwhile, Gwendolyn argued with Brad about pushing Matthias out of the car. After being together for so long, Gwendolyn not only saw Matthias as family, but also had special feelings for him. After arguing with Brad, she left the vehicle and jumped out. Gwendolyn didn't get far before Corinne also jumped out of the car. Corinne didn't want to be the next friend to be betrayed, so she decided to join Gwendolyn. Matthias returned home alone, but was surprised to find Gwendolyn and Corinne waiting for him. Gwendolyn apologized and assured him that Brad was no longer working with them. Matthias didn't blame her. Then the 3 of them began to plan how to open the 3rd safe. However, the bank where the 3rd safe was kept was under strict surveillance. Meanwhile, the police were looking for the bank manager. The manager claimed to have received a notice to move the safe. The police were puzzled because they hadn't sent any notice to the bank. It turned out that 2 hours earlier, Corinne had used her hacking skills to spread the fake message. This allowed Matthias and Gwendolyn to disguise themselves as police officers and move the safe without arousing suspicion. But they didn't expect the police to catch on. Now they could only try to open the safe in the car. The difficulty of this safe was much greater than the previous 2. The safe's internal mechanisms featured 7 layers of security and a combination of encrypted numbers. They also had to open the safe under immense pressure. This was a big challenge for Matthias, who struggled to stay calm and started working on the door. On the other hand, Brad and Ralph also searched for Gwendolyn's whereabouts. At the same time, Corinne was arrested by the police. Under interrogation, she revealed coordinates, not Gwendolyn's, but Brad's. By that time, Matthias had managed to crack the 6th security layer in the car. While he was working on the seventh, the car suddenly swerved and Matthias was almost thrown out. After the car stabilized, Matthias unexpectedly connected the last mechanism and successfully opened the vault. As a result, he had opened 3 of Hans's 4 safes. With time running out, they quickly prepared to retrieve the valuables from the safe. But when they got out of the car, they ran into Brad. Brad pulled out a gun and demanded that they hand over all the loot. He also pointed it mercilessly at Matthias, but he didn't expect Gwendolyn to disarm him. It turned out that the gun was unloaded. Gwendolyn pulled out another gun and pointed it at Brad. Seeing the tables turned, Matthias punched Brad in the face, but couldn't completely subdue him. Before they fled, they locked Brad in the car. The police arrived and managed to arrest Brad. But when they tried to get on the boat to escape, the police caught them. Gwendolyn pulled out her gun and confronted the officers. She demanded that the police let Matthias go and that she stay. The police accepted her conditions, thinking that Gwendolyn was the most wanted. After insisting several times, Matthias left alone. He took out the passport and plane ticket they had prepared before the job. He remembered the moments he had shared with Gwendolyn. Despite their separation, fate has other plans for them as members of the Legion of the Dead approach Matthias to ask for his help with Hans's last safe. Soon, their paths will cross again, and together they will face even more challenges and adventures in their quest to open the 4th and final safe.